Southwest Loop here.
Westover Hills.
Westover Hills.
151 and 410. You know where we are at. Well, come out and join us. We'll be live till 2 o'clock. We got our swag. The TVs are on. Every seat's a man cave. We got cricket. We got indoor soccer. And we're headed toward a Monday night football game that you can catch live right here on San Antonio Sports Star. Yeah, what a great way to start a Monday.
Oh, I might stay here until the Cowboys-Eagles game, and I better, now that everybody can hear me, I better keep it on the DL that I'm an Eagles fan. We're going to get way into this Monday night football game that you can catch live right here on San Antonio Sports Star. And I don't know, though. I got way caught up in the Portugal-Spain indoor soccer match. I'd never even seen indoor soccer before, and all of a sudden I'm captivated. I think it was a World Cup qualifier, and it ended on an own goal in extra time. Oh, my goodness. I am now a indoor soccer fan because of this place.
We didn't know it even existed 2 hours ago, and you're completely in. Yeah, I heard something yesterday. This will be the first time in history that the Super Bowl will be played while the Winter Olympics are going on. Winter Olympics are coming up in February of next year. I hadn't put two and two together, but
is that Beijing, Shanghai, somewhere in China, right?
I think they're back in Beijing. I think the same place they've been a couple of times. I think they did a Summer Olympics there, and they're going back and doing a winter.
Well, we got everything set up except for you just got to make it iced out and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, and I saw the headlines that you have to be vaccinated to get in there. So, yeah, we're heading full speed ahead into Winter Olympics. But I can't talk about my curling favorites right now as we got a Monday Night Football game to discuss. Who would have thought going into Week 3 it would be the number 1 rated defense hosted by the number 6 rated defense, Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles so far have the best defense in the NFL.
Not surprising, though.
The Cowboys side of it is, at least.
Yeah, well, first of all, on the Eagles side, not surprising on that defense. Anywhere Fletcher Cox is, things are going to go well. I mean, that's not surprising. I would check the level of competition they've hit. The Cowboys on the other side, I think that the defense tonight are really going to play the most important role here. I think we can expect the offense to be what the offense has been. But this defense has to continue to be opportunistic. There's 6 turnovers in 2 games. The turnovers certainly played a huge role in the comeback against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Fell a little short, a little bit too much time there. Asked the 49ers about too much time. And then last week, 3 more turnovers in what was a very winnable game by the Chargers. I think if they're able to get a couple of turnovers and keep that offense on the field, the Cowboys are in good shape, but there's no guarantee that the turnovers will come. We're not used to that being a regular thing.
Yeah, it's a fun fact that you bring that up. Philadelphia is actually the 3rd team in the Super Bowl era with 0 giveaways and 0 takeaways in their first 2 games of the season. Of course, back in New Orleans, the Saints did it, and Denver did it in 1998. No team has ever done it through 3 games. So they're playing neutral there in terms of possession, where they are not giving up any possessions, but they're also not taking away any, despite that number 1 defense. So really, what's going to break there? Is it going to be the trend of Dallas forcing the turnovers? I think they're averaging 3 a game. And then on the other side, Philadelphia's done a great job holding on to the ball. So that'll be one of the keys and factors to the game, which defense can force the turnovers, because you get those extra possessions, you maybe get those extra points, and then maybe you can lead the NFC East after tonight. We'll have a clear-cut division leader.
It feels very much like a separation weekend, even at Week 3. The Giants are a dumpster fire. And it's not so much the play on the field, which is awful. Danny Nichols, I don't know what we want to call him now, is making Mitch Trubisky look good. And he had a record night against the Washington football team, so it's not necessarily him. It's the undisciplined play, the turnovers, the offsides, the inopportune penalties. That's the kind of thing that gets coaches fired. And then you look at what's going on in Washington, and obviously quarterback's going to be an issue for them for the rest of the year, along with other injuries. If the Cowboys can grab a 1-game lead against Philadelphia's got a tough road coming up in front of them. The Cowboys get a little bit of a break for a couple of weeks. So you can see an early separation, but there's a long way between here and there. This has the feel of a trap game for the Dallas Cowboys. It has the feel of an easy one to look over because they played well in their first 2. They're finally coming home. It is a football team in Philadelphia that you don't hadn't earned, I guess, a lot of respect offensively, but can bring it. Hurts is a far better quarterback, I think, than a lot of people expected.
Yeah, I'll talk about one thing first and then get to that last point about Hurts. You know who comes to play for primetime games? It might not be a trap game for him. Ezekiel Elliott. Elliott has averaged 97 yards career rushing per game in primetime games, and that's the most of any player since the 1970 merger. So I know you have Zeke on your fantasy team here at the San Antonio Sports Star, and you need it tonight, don't you? Going up against your old
down
co-host
behind
Minix.
About 14 points down. Yeah, I'm hoping that we have the typical primetime. I didn't know that he'd been that good in primetime because I don't feel like the Cowboys have been all that good in primetime. And normally when Zeke gets those kind of yards, there's wins that follow. We'll see tonight.
Absolutely. And going on to your point about Jalen Hurts, how about this? Through his first career start, this is how it compares to Lamar Jackson in his first career 6 starts. 56% completion percentage for Hurts, 58% completion percentage for Jackson, and a lot of those passes last year were because he was under pressure and just had to get rid of the ball. It was a smarter play to do. In terms of passing yards per game, 228.8 per game for Hurts, only 155.8 for Lamar Jackson. Go into the rushing yards, that's where Jackson has the edge. 69.3 yards per game. Nothing to sneeze at for Jalen Hurts, but Lamar Jackson obviously eclipsed him there with 77.7 yards rushing per game. 8 passing touchdowns for Hurts is only 5 for Lamar Jackson. 3 interceptions for both of them, but the passer rating, Jalen Hurts has the advantage at 86.6 over Lamar Jackson. So 2 games into the season, 6 starts into Hurts' career. He is looking like the viable option there. I know when they made the trade for Gardner Minshew, it was a thought maybe he would be starting by week 5 or 6. Minshew has now become the insurance policy because the other option was Joe Flacco.
Which, if you ever see Flacco this year, things have gone horribly south.
Yeah, that's the ongoing joke of the Eagles actually signed him. I was hoping Pledge would catch the drop, but all good. No. That's you were serious about that. I wasn't.
You were serious about that.
There you go. Yeah, Joe Flacco is not going. Yeah, like you said, we're tanking in full tank mode if Flacco gets out there. But good for Jalen Hurts to be at least comparable to a guy who's a league MVP.
Lamar's arm was the question, of course, when he came out of Clemson. Certainly everything else, Louisville, came out of Louisville, did everything, but it was more about his legs. I think the same questions were for Jalen Hurts, but for different reasons. I will say that I didn't expect him to have the arm that he has, and certainly Sirianni has designed an offense that, he gets his guys in stride going downfield to kind of stretch it to open up the running game. So the passing is he's doing rudimentary routes, but he's effective. And I think we're going to see a plodding kind of Philadelphia offense with effective downfield throwing, but they're going to use the run to set up the early passes. But I think by the end of the game, by the fourth quarter, that they're going to start throwing deep. And I think if they do it right and stay away from Diggs, it could be a turning point for Hurts and the Eagles this week. I am not as comfortable in this game as a lot of people are. I think that the Cowboys have had a lot of attaboys, and they have a lot of issues on the front line, again, on the defensive line, and that's where the Eagles are relatively strong, at least in controlling the ball. It's going to be a closer game, and if you go to BetUS, I'm looking at the under on this one.
That's a fair point. And you look at Trayvon Diggs, he has all 3 of his picks last year in 2020 were against Philadelphia. This year he has 1 interception or more in each of his first 2 games. The first Dallas player to do that since 2006.
Good weekend in the NFL, and while the NFC least seems to be, might be a little bit separated, when you look around the rest of the league, what was most impressive for you yesterday? Was it the Rams and just what was a thoroughly dominating performance? Because that looked like a Super Bowl team and looked like the NFC East championship game preview that we expected. Look around the rest of the league, you saw the Cardinals manage to rip a win out of the jaws of defeat after getting down and stupid long kick from Jacksonville, so they stay undefeated, though I'm not really sold on them. I think there's something sour in Seattle. Seattle gets beaten at home last week by a pounding Tennessee team, and then this week just utterly embarrassed, I believe, by the Minnesota Vikings. We're starting to see the pretenders. We're starting to see the contenders. What did you see over the weekend, Carl?
It was definitely the Tampa Bay, maybe not pretender status, but whenever the Rams handle them as easily as they did, you get to feeling that the Rams are bound for the Super Bowl. Health, obviously, always pending in this league. But Prince Obi-Wan pointed it out. The record field goal, the Justin Tucker 66-yarder, crushing the dreams of the Lions fan, and that's almost karma for the Lions fans who booed the owner during Megatron's jersey retirement.
Can we talk about this entire game? Now, first of all, we had the booing of Megatron at halftime with they're yelling for the woman, the Ford, whatever her name is, to sell the team, and that was kind of embarrassing for everybody involved. And then you had well, certainly they lost, but on top of that, it's the way they lost. Because, quite frankly, Baltimore shouldn't have been in that position. There was a delay of game that wasn't called. I mean, it was criminally not called. I think anybody who saw that knows that there was too much. The clock was dead. Baltimore should have moved back 5 yards. It should have been a 71-yard field goal that should have never even been taken. So the Detroit is cursed. The team is cursed. The best thing that ever happened to Stafford was to get out of Detroit. But you know what? Good teams win games like that, and losers lose. Losing teams lose just like that on stupid mistakes, either by themselves or by the refs. They got themselves in a situation where they couldn't get themselves out of, and Detroit just went ahead and Detroited.
Pretty much. And, yeah, I think Dan Campbell said after the game the NFL is going to apologize for that. He said he's going to force the NFL to apologize, but you can't replay that final play of the game no matter how hard you try. They're not going to do that kind of stuff. So that's an unfortunate loss for the Lions.
I want to ask you a question about the Ravens. Is Justin Tucker the best Texas Longhorn? Rudy asked us this earlier in the day on R&R in the morning. Is Justin Tucker the best Longhorn in the NFL? Is he the best?
Currently, right now, absolutely.
What about all time?
All time, I want to give that nod to Earl Campbell. However, I was not alive. I was not here when Earl Campbell was playing football in the NFL.
Those of us who saw would not argue that Earl's the greatest Longhorn, but it is worthy of consideration how good Justin Tucker is. 66 yards. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
You got the kicker's touch. You know how in basketball you get the shooter's touch off the rim.
Absolutely.
Hit the crossbar, went on up, and fell right behind it, and that's how you pick up a win in the National Football League. That's how you get the record and break the hearts of all the Lions fans.
Easy dunk, dink and dunk for them. Hey, let's get you caught up on the headlines. Things are stacking quick, and Carl's got everything you need. Carl, what you got?
Carl's Countdown.
Got a trade in the NFL. The Carolina Panthers acquire cornerback C.J. Henderson from Jacksonville Jaguars for a fifth-round pick. And the Jaguars also sent tight end Dan Arnold and a third-round pick over to the
Panthers?
The Jacksonville Sins. So let me read this right away. The Carolina Panthers on Monday acquired cornerback C.J. Henderson for a fifth-round pick, and the Jacksonville Jaguars from the Jacksonville Jaguars for tight end Dan Arnold and a third-round pick that goes back to the Panthers.
Somebody was sprung from Jacksonville. Quarterback C.J. Henderson, here's your parole papers. You're free. You're out of Jacksonville, heading to a team that is 3-0 in Carolina.
Yeah, this comes off of the move where J.C. Horn will be out for an extended period of time, maybe even the season, with multiple broken bones in his feet.
Just non-contact injury, running backwards and breaks several bones in his foot. That's a tough go. And remember, Dallas Cowboy fan, J.C. Horn was on the radar to be drafted last draft, and instead Micah ended up here. Good move by both, I think.
Yeah, it's an aggressive move for Carolina. They're 3-0, and they lead the NFC South by a game over Tampa Bay and New Orleans heading into Sunday's game. So they want to make sure that they get that defense shored up.
They're going to have to, because the offense is going to suffer without McCaffrey for a while, along with my fantasy team.
All right, headline one. Today's media day across the NBA, and one of the teams that you know is going to get a lot of the same question are the Philadelphia 76ers. And after requesting a trade in the offseason, Philadelphia 76ers All-Star Ben Simmons is officially not at training camp. Doc Rivers says even today he still wants him back.
Okay. You know, the Ben Simmons story is going to fade into the background for a couple of days. I think this week, especially today, tomorrow, and the next, as we figure out by action the different NBA players that have chosen not to get vaccinated. We know what the ramifications are, the suggestions from the NBA, but now it's about getting guys in camp. And we talked about this when the NFL began in camp, and you had head coaches coming out and say, if your team is not 100% vaxxed, how can you say you're in it to win it? If you're in it to win a title, if the thing you need is to be vaxxed and get in there, how can you say, well, as we get ready for the season, and front runner like the Nets are probably going to be without Kyrie, at least in the short term, though Sean Marks did come out and say he expects everybody to be vaxxed. I think that as we sit now, he hasn't. It's going to be some upheaval. I expect to hear some news about LeBron. We're already hearing something a little bit out of Phoenix regarding Devin Booker and his protocols. So it's going to be a weird couple of days in the NBA as we find out where everybody stands on the protocols, getting themselves ready for the season in just a little over a month.
Right, and now headline 0, Pelicans Zion Williamson underwent off-season surgery on his broken foot, but according to David Griffin, the GM of the Pelicans, he should be ready to go for the start of the regular season.
What broken foot?
He broke it during the summer. I suppose this is, I don't know if I heard about it
I
either,
have
right?
not heard that.
Well, in the social media era, that's a tough thing to do.
He broke a foot over the last several weeks and is expected to be back on time. Must not be too bad. Is it the same foot that he dealt with when he was at Duke? When he blew his shoe out?
It's his right foot. I'm trying to see if there's any history of it, but that would make sense.
New Orleans has got a lot of trouble, and without Zion, they have even more. Hopefully he'll get him back. The highlight film needs to be there. We've been hearing stories that that Zion's family and himself are feeling a little bit unloved in New Orleans and might be seeking a free agent, might be breaking away after this next year when the contract starts to expire. It's a huge year for New Orleans. They're going to have to make him happy.
That's the beauty of the NFL, though. They don't have that franchise tag like the NFL. The beauty of the NBA, the franchise tag of the NFL, obviously, is may or more or less not fair to the players, but restricted free agency is fair to the teams that draft and spent a first-round pick on these guys, and they get to either match any offer signed, and Zion Williamson, even if he signs a max offer sheet, is going to get matched by New Orleans. So how much does he really not want to be in New Orleans? Will he accept the qualifying offer and then go into unrestricted free agency, or will he basically tell New Orleans, hey, sign me for 1 year, or sign an offer sheet for 1 year that New Orleans matches? So there's a lot that could go in there, a lot of moving parts.
It's interesting when you deal with those with the NBA contract like that because of the decision whether to tender or not. And then you have to throw in, now he hasn't qualified for the max stuff. He hasn't gotten all NBA yet. He hasn't gotten the things that'll qualify you like Luka has, who's kind of in the same situation. Trae Young was also in that same situation. Well, those teams had to jump forward because you knew exactly what the offer was going to be. The absolute max that is more than any other NBA team can offer. Well, New Orleans can't do that yet. Now, they can offer a bit more because of, he's already on the roster, but it's going to be a tougher keep, especially on a team that has gone, well, they haven't gone, I would say, sideways, if not backwards, since Zion arrived. They're not the team they thought they'd have when he walked onto the court, 2 years ago. Yeah,
they get all those talented players and picks for Anthony Davis, but turns out that just talent alone will not win you games in the NBA. He's going to be on his third coach in 3 years. So I can understand why he's a little frustrated because they, quite frankly, don't know how to play Zion in the NBA yet. Last year, Stan Van Gundy decided, I'm going to play you at point, and that was actually his most effective position. Might as well keep him at point guard, 6'5" point guard that can shift over to the center. That's got to be a league's first since Charles Barkley and LeBron James.
And this is real quick, and maybe we'll get into it later, but when you talk about Zion and him playing point, and it seems to be the natural position for him, when was the last time Zion has Zion ever been a threat to hit a three to beat you? Would you, if you had your choice of defending Zion, would you let him go ahead and take the three and guard against, let him getting into the paint? What I'm trying to do here is when Ben Simmons is destroyed for the game that he plays, that he'd much rather get into the paint and play that way, and he's dominant in the paint and won't take a jump shot. Well, think about what Zion is, and they're essentially the same guy when you look at how they've been used. Zion and Ben Simmons are huge point guards that play a different way than any point guard across the league. Zion's whole intent is to get into the paint and dunk on you. That's it, whether it's a dunk and one or a layup and one, his job is to get there, not to pull up and take threes and not to really initiate the offense. Ben Simmons and Zion, if you're going to talk about Zion at point guard and not have a problem, you better look at Ben and go, well, if you don't have a problem with Zion, why do you have a problem with Ben?
Zion at least will take those threes. He doesn't take a three a game. He takes a three every other game.
Okay.
But
well,
his first season, his rookie year, you remember his first game against the Spurs.
Yes.
His first career game was against the Spurs. I think he hit like 4 of 6 threes.
Yeah, but
and it was ridiculous.
Uncorked. He was uncorked after, 4 months sitting and watching, right?
And he ended up shooting 40% his rookie year, but that went down to under 30% last year. So
sounds like Zion. It sounds like Ben.
Well, Ben doesn't even shoot them. That's the issue with Ben is he doesn't want to shoot. He's allergic to taking a shot from outside 15 feet. Some of that has to do with the design of Philadelphia around him, and I think the coaching sort of ruined Ben Simmons last year with Doc Rivers not really running him in pick and roll, dribble handoffs, anything like that to create his shot around the mid-range. Because when he first entered the league, Ben would take those shots. It was an ugly shot, but it would go in sometimes. Now they've just surrounded him with Tobias Harris, Seth Curry, once upon a time, Josh Richardson, and Jimmy Butler, just to say, you don't need to worry about scoring on the perimeter. That's what these guys are here for. You score inside.
Who would you have right now?
Zion.
You'd rather have Zion than Ben?
Yeah. Although, to be honest, Zion's seeming a little almost like Derrick Rose syndrome. Too athletic for his own body's good. And sometimes that athleticism backfires because it'll result in injuries that will put you out a long time, such as ligaments or broken bones.
I'll tell you, I'm not sure I'd agree with you. I think those two guys' points in their career, I'd rather have Ben. He's a better defender. I trust him to run the offense a little bit more. I can play him in probably one other position than I could as Zion. Again, I think Ben Simmons has been derided to the point where we forget how good he is. And Zion, who hadn't had to suffer the slings and arrows of getting into the playoffs and having a winning team. I don't know, man. I think I might be down with Ben.
It's an interesting debate because Zion, he only was able to drink 81 days ago. So he just turned 21, and you have to wonder if maybe down the road when we revisit this, Ben Simmons will be in his 30s and Zion will only be 25, 26 years old. So that's there's just a weird comparison when you're talking about there's still two young guys. To be 25 again. But, yeah, they're two guys that definitely are different stages of their career. Zion coming off that broken foot. What was it, a torn meniscus that kept him out the beginning of his career?
Yeah, he's had some feet. He had a slight knee issue, but I think the feet have been the ongoing problem.
Yeah, he has some miles on that body, but I don't know. That's a tough one. I would rather have Zion just because the way they've used Ben Simmons, but I agree. Right now, if I had to play a game tomorrow, Ben Simmons. Mainly because Zion won't be able to play until the start of the regular season. All right. Well, hey, we appreciate y'all spending your midday break with us. We're out of Twin Peaks. One more time, Hanover. What's the
Westover Hills.
Westover Hills.
151 and 410. You know where it is. Come over and join us. It's a man cave. It's a football Monday. We got all the TVs on. The food is good. The scenic views are in place. We'll be here for the next couple hours.
Westover Hills. First time this far south in a while. I have not been to this side of town in since I moved here at least. So I appreciate you guys coming out here, spending halftime with us, your midday break here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
As I sit right now looking across the line, I hope you won some money this weekend. If you didn't, I want you to listen up because we'll give you every opportunity. And BetUS.com is where I place my bets. It's the only place I go. Sportsbook around for 25 years. I want you to think about that. Sportsbook around 25 years. You know what that tells you? Integrity. Longevity means integrity. They pay when you win. You need a sportsbook with that kind of integrity and longevity. What else do you need? Well, you need to know you're going to get paid, and you need to know the money that you want to lay is on the events you want to bet on. Live betting, of course. Spent all Saturday afternoon taking care of that. MMA, golf, horses, esports, and all of those crazy prop bets that we all chase. It is so easy to sign up at BetUS. This is what I want you to do. Dial 1-800-79-BET-US. It'll take you about 2 minutes after that. They'll walk you through the process, get you all signed up. Before you know it, you'll be laying money right now. And when you mention KZDC, that's KZDC, you'll get up to 200% in bonuses on that first deposit. Let me tell you, anybody who's playing knows nobody does that. And if you are with another service, you owe it to yourself. Call BetUS.com. Get it downloaded. Take advantage of the bonuses. What are you doing? That's free money. Join BetUS.com today. Start betting with America's favorite sportsbook. Dial 1-800-79-BET-US. Mention KZDC and get that up to 200% bonus. BetUS.com. It's where the game begins.
Not everybody can make it to every game, but every game can make it to everybody.
Culberson swings and belts one. Straightaway left. Way back. That ball is history. It took one pitch for the Rangers to tie the game.
Here's a ball that's lined into left field. Diving for it is Davis, and he makes the catch.
Rangers baseball. It's a whole new ball game. Hear it all right here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Yes, free. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/free. How much? Free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey, is that a faucet running?
Nope, that's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest.
It is?
Yeah, forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink. The water comes straight from the forest to us. In fact...
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
How do trees clean the air?
They soak up the dirty air on their leaves, branches, and trunks, which means clean air for us.
Cool. I didn't know that.
Yep, but the forest does more than give us clean air and water. It gives us shade for hot days, birds to listen to, and trees to climb.
Wow, that's awesome. I didn't know how cool the forest could be. Hey, let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
These are the final days, the final hours of Diamonds Direct's incredible finance offer. You have until Saturday at 6 p.m. to take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing. That's on any purchase. Buy now. Spread your payments over 5 whole years with zero interest. Response has been incredible, but this amazing offer comes to an end on Saturday and will not be extended. Don't miss the year's best buying opportunity at Diamonds Direct. 5 years zero interest through Saturday at 6 p.m. Get directions, details, and more now at diamondsdirect.com.
Giving you an excuse for a long lunch break. It's halftime with Rob Thompson and Carl Schoening on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It's halftime. Thank y'all for spending your midday break with us. I'm Carl Schoening. He's Rob Thompson. James Pledger back in the studio making us sound good. Nick here on site doing the on-site engineering. Appreciate you coming out. Edwin. What do we got over there, Edwin? We got our
koozies. Swag. Come out and get it.
Yeah.
We got lanyards. We got koozies. We got all the San Antonio Sports Star. Come on out and join us. We're at Twin Peaks, 151 and 410 while we're Westover Hills. We'll be here till 2 o'clock. Don't forget, the Blitz will be live at 4 o'clock out at I-10 Ice House, getting you ready for the Monday night football game. But right now, we're in a man cave. Come out and join us.
Absolutely. We were trying to figure out the rules of cricket because there's a cricket match going on behind us, and I think the score is something like 2,000-5.
I've got enough to worry about. I'm not going to dive into cricket just yet.
There are some hockey games going on right now, and we forget about hockey because we don't have
care.
ice.
Well,
we
no,
don't have ice
don't
in
care.
Texas usually, but yeah, that's true. We also don't really care. I can't name 5 hockey players, but that starts up around the same time as the NBA. But last night was the end of week 3. The second to last game of week 3 football. How
blessed have we been? Friday for a prime time game. Well, just
so
every primetime game has been spectacular. And if you were like me with about 2 minutes to go, you see San Francisco punch it in, you think, well, it's over. And so I'm getting ready to get in bed because, my goodness, our alarm goes off a little early. And then that last 30 seconds, just too much time for a witch. Now, Aaron's going to get all the credit for the comeback, but let's talk about the kick, man. 51 yards was a worthy effort in that damp San Francisco air. A good win by Green Bay. I still don't know how good they are. I can't figure it out, but I know when Aaron Jones is running the ball, they're a much better team. But Aaron carried them last night. There wasn't a whole lot there but Aaron, and it was enough.
I'll tell you what, Mason Crosby deserves all of the money a kicker can get. He has made 22 straight field goals dating back to 2019, and he was the first kicker in Green Bay history with 0 missed field goals with a minimum 2 attempts. That's insane.
I heard earlier on Greeny, and I'm going to probably screw the numbers up, but we've already had up to week 3 more. I think there's like 4 games that have been cited by a kickoff, by a field goal with under 15 seconds left in the season, in the game. We've already had 4 this year, which is already a record that goes all the way back to 1970. So we have been given phenomenal primetime games. We got another one last night. We'll hope to get another one this evening. The weekend that was, I think we did start to see a little bit of separation. What do you think of the Chargers? Was that a great win against the Chiefs, or just an average win against a Chief team that's defense still hasn't found its form? And Pat Mahomes has been reading too many of his highlights, or watching too many highlights. These no-look passes and these ridiculous attempts are starting to come back and bite him in the ass. I don't know how good the Chargers are. I think they're Super Bowl quality, but I have to see them have it happen again. I think when they look back, they're going to say, we should have beaten the Cowboys, and they probably should have. That was a nice win yesterday against a Chief team that's still trying to find their way. I think the Rams have separated themselves, and on the AFC side, shoot, it's kind of wide open, man. I haven't seen anybody that tells me the AFC's got a Super Bowl champion in it.
Yeah, it's only week 3, so everybody's wide open here. And yeah, the Chargers 2-1. They probably should be 3-0, obviously, thanks to Greg the Leg. They're not. And yesterday, you could say that is a statement win because you have the Chiefs penciled in as one of the best teams in the AFC. But that's mostly because the Chiefs can't stop anybody. Patrick Mahomes will get you in a position to win. Usually you'd hope to have 27 or more, but 10 of Patrick Mahomes' 12 career losses have been against teams that have scored 30 or more points. That includes the playoffs. And he gives you the points. It's almost like a pitcher, right? You get that run support, you're going to win. You don't get that run support sometime, you're going to have some trouble because he'll get you in a position to win, but the defense – points are a problem for the Chiefs. They've allowed 25-plus points in the last 4 games they've played.
They're getting blitzed, man. That defense is terrible. I mean, not just kind of. It's terrible, so bad. And actually, there's some good news. So bad, in fact, that Andy Reid, due to what we've been told has been what was it?
Heat exhaustion, he was taken to the hospital.
Taken to the hospital post-game. For what we heard today, everything seems to be okay once they put an IV in his arm. But I'll tell you, that Kansas City defense is going to have to right the ship pretty quick because that AFC West is good. Denver flying under the radar. That defense is dominating. Denver's a good football team that we're not going to talk about till suddenly they're 9-3. Suddenly we're going to go, what happened here, and why is Kansas City struggling to keep up? Because quite frankly, I don't see Denver losing very often coming up in the next 6 or 7 games either. I think the AFC West is going to make it difficult for Kansas City as we keep moving forward.
Denver is one of those surprise teams where we weren't sure who was going to be their starting quarterback, much less what they were going to do in the NFL this year. But Teddy Bridgewater has, a resume that's nothing to sneeze at. Obviously, he's had to bounce back from some injuries, and he's bounced around with his different clubs here and there. He played well when he was with the Saints. He wins the starting job here, and he might be a stopgap for the eventual guy that they decide to go with. But for now, he has shown that he's probably a top in the top half of the starting quarterbacks in this league.
Easily. 5 teams are currently 3-0: Rams, Broncos, Raiders, Cardinals, and Panthers. 4 of these teams missed the playoffs altogether last year, so thank goodness for the low playoff schedule. Thank goodness for the 8th seed schedule as they've come out. They're tied for the second most in the season in the Super Bowl era since 1966 for teams that have turned it around, gone 3-0 after not making the playoffs last year. Of those 4 teams, are you buying all of them?
Raiders might be the fool's gold out of all of this because it's an unimpressive 3-0. They've gone up against Miami last week without Tua. Obviously, they're probably going to come away with a better season than last, but once they start facing some really good teams, I don't know what they're going to do.
Last time they went 3-0, Carl, they went to the Super Bowl. That was 2002.
Oh yeah, that's a fallacy. But if you'd like to put a little money on BetUS, that might be something to see if you can get some wagering in right now.
I'll tell you, the Raiders are a team I'm not completely sold on, but one thing I know about John Gruden is they know how to close. They'll know how to finish a game as long as they're in it to win it late. This was a more impressive win, I think, quite frankly, because they did it without Josh Jacobs. And quite frankly, Darren Waller didn't have a great game either. Going against Miami, they didn't have to do much, and Jacoby Brissett for 3 quarters was pretty awful. Now, he kind of turned things around late, but the fact of the matter is, I think as Miami went down that hard, as they're trying to figure out what they're going to do with Tua and the broken – does he have broken clavicle or ribs? He's got a
ribs
upper issue there. We did hear some softening, some thawing from the Houston Texans over the weekend regarding the potential to trade Deshaun Watson. I think it's something worthy of watching because I think Miami's looking at this team going, but for a quarterback, I think we can be competitive. And maybe Deshaun Watson, they're going to start seeing as their answer because they fought hard against the Raiders. They just didn't have any offensive help at all.
And the Texans say that they are softening their position. I guess that means they're not asking for the moon anymore for Deshaun Watson. Miami seems like the logical place for him to go.
It's the last bastion of a quarterback that is being questioned. Zach Wilson is not going to be questioned with the Jets. Philadelphia, at least until tonight's game, I think is pretty comfortable with Jalen Hurts being their quarterback for the rest of the year. Denver Broncos are undefeated, and Teddy is throwing the ball appropriately. He's protecting the ball. The places where we thought he would land suddenly have found quarterbacks that they're comfortable with and probably aren't going to be nearly as eager to give up even a lesser request for the Houston Texans for Deshaun. But Miami still holding out there. I wouldn't be surprised if the deal does happen. It happens with Miami, and it's still probably a couple weeks away.
Let's see what the Vegas odds are. I would think that the Giants are probably in there as well.
That's a good question. I don't know what you do with New York.
No, I don't know either. This is like a lost season, mate. But there's no real quarterbacks in the waiting for them to replace Daniel Jones.
I don't think Deshaun wants or would function in the New York metropolitan media market. I think that would be awful. I do have one bold prediction there. I do think that as much as we might laugh at it, Jason Garrett will be the head coach of the New York Giants, I would say probably by week 10.
I'm all for that. Yeah,
that's an undisciplined, bad football team. It's not about their talent. It's the stupid turnovers. It's the offsides. It's the inopportune fumbles and mistakes. It's a team that lacks discipline. Unless they're going to look outside of the building, I don't see how Judge lasts. I do think that Garrett would be the odds-on favorite to get it done, especially if they go down again next week.
Well, that makes it a little easier to fire the coach, but then Jason Garrett no longer employed in the NFC East. That'll make me sad. I was very happy when he got back on with the Giants.
Well, I think he's going to be the head coach there.
Yeah, but then it will get fired. There's no reason to bring him back as a head coach. We've seen that movie.
He is very close to that organization. It wouldn't surprise me. And one thing about Jason Garrett is he's really good with owners. He knows how to placate an owner's attitude. He's really good with the administration. It's easy to hire him, and it makes it hard to fire him unless you really care about your being over 500.
I'm actually good with that. That would be a dream come true if Jason Garrett goes from coaching the Cowboys to becoming the offensive coordinator at the Giants, to all of a sudden failing his way upward into the head coach of the Giants. That I would be giving him the Jason Garrett clap for that one. That would be the most that'd be the best thing for Eagles
failing
fans.
His way upwards.
Hey, you know, what have the Giants done offensively to deserve him to get the head coaching position? You sure, Mr. Clapper, as we saw on our comments? Thank you to everybody joining us. You can also join us on Facebook Live. I've been neglecting the comments here with YouTube as well. Appreciate all of y'all, as Edgar was the one who calls him Mr. Clapper. We're out here at Westover Marketplace, Twin Peaks location. We want you guys to come on out as well as
151 and 410. That's all you need to know. 151 and 410. You can see it from 151. Come out and join us. The lunch is going on right now. Great specials. We've got our swag. We're going to give away some tickets here in just a bit to a Comic-Con as well.
Absolutely. Have you ever been to a Comic-Con?
No.
No,
Carl.
Neither have I.
Okay.
I was just curious.
No.
Yeah, maybe you're living an alternate life that I'm unaware of.
That would be an alternate lifestyle that I am not living.
No, you've never cosplayed? Could he be Stan Lee? I don't know. You're cosplaying today, Pledger. You're wearing who is it you're wearing?
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord, that's right. Chris Pratt's character in Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, stay tuned. We will be giving those off at the 1 o'clock hour. Right before, hopefully, I'm waiting to hear back from him. Rod Babers joins us to talk Longhorns as he is a card-carrying member of DBU. Joseph is asking me on Facebook, where's my jersey? I actually do not own any Eagles jerseys, and I probably should invest in, I think a Reggie White would be a cool one.
I think everybody should own a Reggie White jersey. Everybody, either Green Bay or Philadelphia, put on a Reggie White jersey. That's a great man.
I'm good with that as well. Hey, it is Spurs Media Day today. Jason Minix was out there. There's a couple things. You can find out who gained height. A lot of Spurs players gained height. Who lost weight? Who gained weight? Somebody shrunk. We'll tell you who
was in the pool.
Oh, boy, we'll have to have that cue ready to go for another episode. But, yep, that is something worth sticking around for here. Sorry, that's a great line, though. Thank you. The Spurs Media Day, we'll tell you about the roster here on halftime when we come back. Thank you all for spending your midday break with us on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM.
This is the place where time stands still. With each down is a battle of inches.
How about 83 yards from Prescott to Elliott?
This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The UTSA Roadrunners football team had their largest come-from-behind victory in program history on Saturday versus Memphis. Down 21-0 in the first half, UTSA would eventually beat the Tigers 31-28. Thanks to a last-second field goal, UTSA is 4-0 and received votes in both top 25 polls. The Houston Astros had a chance to clinch the AL West this weekend, but instead are on a 4-game losing streak heading into the final 6 games of the season. Their magic number is 2. Meanwhile, the Texas Rangers host the LA Angels for their final series of September. And the Incarnate Word Cardinals improved to 3-1 with a shutout victory over McNeese State, 31-0 in San Antonio on Saturday. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Carl Schoening.
Central Builders Incorporated is a family-owned, award-winning general contractor headquartered in San Antonio. Since 1989, CBI has completed over $1 billion in construction projects, including large-scale remodeling, expansions, and ground-up construction. The award-winning CBI has also been recognized by the San Antonio Business Journal as one of the best places to work for the past 4 years, and Central Builders is hiring. Learn more at centralbuilders.net. That's centralbuilders.net.
Hey y'all, I'm Grant Pinkerton of Pygarden's Barbecue in downtown San Antonio. We only smoke prime meats with a blend of post oak and mesquite. Come see us for some of those giant beef ribs, tender brisket, and a cold big red. We have a Texas-sized bar, great selection of bourbon, and tons of local beers. I love sports, so we have plenty of screens to watch them on. We're open Wednesday through Sunday for lunch and dinner or until we sell out. Come early, come hungry, and stay late.
Ladies and gentlemen, today's opponents on Man versus Train. At the crossing, we have Rick, a 175-pound frustrated man who's running late for work. And on the tracks, we have Bull, a 1 million-pound freight train that takes a mile to stop. Let's see who comes out on top.
You can't beat a train, so don't try. Stop. Trains can't. Paid for by NHTSA.
So as you guys know, Mark's gone.
The float artist at Fred's Floral just took off, days before the parade. They need a replacement before business passes them by.
Oh, and who am I going to get to finish the float?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Cleanliness and safety are essential to the success of any business. That's why Cintas has introduced our Total Clean program, a one-of-a-kind service that includes scheduled deliveries of essential cleaning supplies, hygienically cleaned uniforms, and on-site sanitizer and disinfectant services to help eliminate germs. Learn what the Cintas Total Clean program can do for you. Oh, I'm ready! Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
New school, new job, new home. Change is hard and can leave you feeling isolated. And divorce delivers one of life's hardest blows. The relationships you counted on are suddenly gone. But you don't have to walk through this alone. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has guided men through the challenges of divorce. You're not alone. Call Cordell & Cordell.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's San Antonio area attorneys. Offices in San Antonio, Austin, and St. Louis. CordellCordell.com.
A deeper connection with water can change your life. And that's what the home's first smart water network does. It turns your everyday routine into a customized experience.
Mowing. Fill the baby's bottle.
And it can stop a catastrophic leak with a simple water designs our life. Who designs for water? Moen.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
Think you might have ED? Not sure? Well, we'd like to let you in on a little secret. ED is common. About 40% of men experience ED by age 40, but the solution is simple. Find it at 4hims.com.
I didn't have to talk to a doctor in person. There was no copay, and the medication was shipped right to my door in discreet packaging.
Hims took care of it, fast and easy. Now our love life is better than ever.
Get access to doctors online who can prescribe you FDA-approved ED medication if appropriate. The same active ingredient as name brands, but 90% cheaper. Skip the waiting rooms and pharmacy lines. Get a free medical consultation and rise to the occasion or your money back. Go to 4hims.com/radio to get your first visit free. No copay required. The only way to get this special offer is to go to 4hims.com/radio. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Who's ready to play some ball?
Friday nights under the lights. Don't miss the high school football game of the week. Powered by Hill Electric. This Friday on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Hey, it's Greeny, and I've only got 10 seconds, so here's my plug. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
What's up, y'all? It's halftime. I'm Carl Schoening. He's Rob Thompson. We're out here at the Twin Peaks at the
151 and 410.
151 and 410. So where's 151? Is that a highway over here?
We're looking at. That's the road you probably drove in on.
The beauty of GPS is you don't actually have to know roads. You don't have to follow your
millennial
blue dot.
Gen whatever
West
the hell you
Hills.
are. Pull out a map and learn our roads, dude.
Westover Hill. I still don't know San Marcos, and I spent 10 years there.
The good news and the bad news about San Antonio is don't try. Our roads were laid out by a drunk monk on a blind jackass. That's how our city was laid out. So when you go to try to find your way around the city, you're going to have to open up some kind of app. I feel bad for people that have moved here because our roads make zero sense.
Yeah, I grew up I spent time in San Marcos, so I just knew the area. Once you know a small town like that, you can get anywhere in 5 minutes. So spending most of my life there.
Well, here we'll give you directions with things that aren't there anymore.
Oh, jeez. See, no one takes directions anymore. If you start to give me several directions, I'd just be like, don't worry, I have GPS. My phone battery is full. I have service.
So have you ever pulled over and had to ask for directions?
No,
have you ever had to use a map? Ever? Have you ever unfolded a map while you're driving to try to figure out where the hell you are?
Sometime when I was like 10 or younger.
So you never have?
No.
You never had to
driving.
drive and look at a map at the same time?
No.
See? You have lost a valuable skill. I'm not sure how important that skill is.
Not in the 21st
it's carried
century.
me this far. One day you're not going to have your phone. One day you're not going to have Waze, and you have to figure out how to go, and you guys are all going to be lost. Us, on the other hand, as old types, I still have maps. I still have them. Now they're up dirt roads. That's how we came west. It was more of a wagon train map, but I still have one.
Yeah,
Carl has no response, none at all. It doesn't even. It's past.
Was it a
Zero clue what's going on?
Zero, none at all.
Pulled by horse.
Okay, while we're talking about traffic, so over the weekend I had to drive up to Dallas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And had to take 35. Coming home yesterday, just a Sunday drive from North Dallas to my home on the north side of San Antonio, 6.5 hours. People, we got to do better. This 35 was a parking lot for 250 miles. We got to do better. That's enough to restrict trade. That's enough to make me stay home. That was as bad a day as I've ever spent. And while I'm on the car driving, our group text, the WhatsApp that we use, all I hear is bing, bing, bing. I know there's something good going on. Meanwhile, I'm chauffeuring my wife, listening to murder podcasts. I know there's good games going on because I look at the clock. It's like 3:05. Bing, 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 bing. You guys are talking about something huge. I don't know what it is, and I can't go find it because I'm driving stuck in traffic. It was a long and awful day, and we need to be able to turn WhatsApp off in our cars.
Yeah, mute your notifications. That'll help you out a lot. And
you 69. Y'all texted back and forth 69 times.
Oh my goodness!
Hours. Yes.
Yeah, well, you missed. You sparked something on our chats here. Both Facebook and YouTube are saying the roads in San Antonio suck. And what is it here? As I missed that one. Is great way to explain the roads. They make no sense.
Hey, Jorge,
yeah.
We're out at 151 and 410. Get on over here. We'll be here for another couple hours.
The Westover Marketplace.
Westover Hills.
Westover Hills.
Okay. Hey, blame Google.
Come get the chain.
What Google says. Come get the chain. All right. And as I say Google, it goes ahead and pulls it up. No, I don't need you, Google.
Spurs Media Day is going on right now. And first of all, I think we're setting a new land record. The Media Day is going from 9 till 2.
That's right. Jason Minnick's probably is not going for that marathon. He is there for now. He sent some great sound bites.
Why? Why would it go for that long?
They have 17 guys on roster, 18 if you can't count the two-way player, Joe Wieskamp.
And nobody want
Pop
to talk
has
to Joe
talk.
Wieskamp. And Pop's going to give you about 3 minutes.
Pop gave some great 3 minutes, though.
It was 12 minutes, actually.
Oh, wow. It was 12 minutes. James Pledger's cutting up some of the sound right now for the Blitz later on. And he had the best soundbite was somebody asked him how you convinced Manu to come out of retirement. And Pop says, I usually don't get into personal information like this, but his wife wanted him out of the house.
That makes perfect sense. For those unaware, he signed last week as a special assistant to the traveling secretary, I believe is his new title.
Of the basketball operations.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I think it's a player development role. He basically gets to be an assistant coach whenever he wants, something I'm sure he was kind of already doing off the record, but now it's on the record, and he is officially a member of the staff, and I'm sure everybody's happy to have him around. The other cool thing was they released an updated roster, which had all of the players on it, and thanks to the Ty
Before
Yeager,
you start giving, I want to give some backstory. So we were talking about number 14, Drew Eubanks, a couple weeks back.
Okay, that's true.
And, you know, the primary issue with Drew in the NBA is he's kind of undersized for the game that he plays. For a post guy, a rim protector, like he plays very well for someone who was undrafted, he's really improved his game. But his problem is he's been a little short. And I stood next to him. I never thought he was 6'10". I thought he was closer to 6'8", quite frankly. I really did.
Would he finish that day on R&R like 6'3"?
By the time we were done, he was 6'3", and, couldn't even ride some of the Disney rides by the time he wasn't this tall. So as we get the new team data, as they release it today, heights have changed, not only for 14, but for most of the team.
Yeah, you'd be surprised at some of these numbers. Lonnie Walker grew an inch. He's now 6'5".
Lonnie Walker grew an inch.
Keldon Johnson is 6'6", but he lost 10 pounds. He's now listed at 210 instead of 220 last year.
Respect.
DeJounte's 6'5". I thought he was 6'5" already.
Yeah, I'll give him that.
Yeah, I guess they're updating some of these from maybe when he was younger. Drew Eubanks officially 6'10" on the roster. Luka Shamanic is at 6'11". I believe that.
Yeah.
Because Shamanic, we drafted him when he was 19 years old. He's only 21 right now. Devin Vassell went from 6'5" to 6'7". He would be a senior right now at Florida State. So I guess he still has those open growth plates.
No, he did not grow 2 inches in the last year. I think everybody would have noticed, and we'd have taken him to the doctor to see if he had some kind of thyroid or pituitary issue.
Well,
he's too old to add 2 inches.
Nobody's that close to him right now. He's only 21. I think men stop growing when they're 23, 24 years old.
Get out of town.
Absolutely.
Ain't nobody growing at 24. You're going wider. You ain't growing up.
How about this one? Trey Jones listed at 6'3" from 6'1", so he grew 2 inches.
Hey, no way. Both those dudes. What are we feeding these guys, man?
I don't know.
Can I get on that diet plan?
Yeah, right. I wouldn't mind that at all.
This feels very much like the Harlem Globetrotters. It feels very much like a high school team going, let's scare everybody. Let's say we got a 7-footer. How tall are you? 6'4"? You're 7 feet today, son.
Now, how about this one, though? Jakob Poeltl, he's shrunk. He's now listed at 7 foot after being 7'1" last year.
I was in the pool!
Did we get a new ruler, a new tape measure? Was our last one lost in translation? Or were we using the wrong system?
Yeah, maybe we started measuring centimeters, and all of a sudden we realized the centimeters were off last year.
You know, we have film on you guys. We can go back and check the draft. We can go back and check when they first arrived. I find it very interesting that really even matters. But the fact is how it would change. You're going to tell me 2 guys on this team grew 2 inches.
Esteban asks if they were without shoes. I would assume so. That seems to be the most accurate way to measure these guys. And I've stood next to Keldon, and he was closer to 6'7" when he was in shoes.
Yeah. Keldon's, I don't have any issue with any of that, but to hear somebody have grown 2 inches, I don't believe it, especially Eubanks.
Well, Eubanks only grew 1.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he decided to wear his padded socks today. And on top of that, Jock Landale comes in at 6'11", 255. He's going to fill out the center position pretty nicely. And then on top of that, Luka Shamanic officially gains 8 pounds. We were talking about how much he looked like. He bulked up a little bit. He's at 235 coming into training camp. And Josh Primo, 18 and a half years old, he is 6'6", 190. And that's pretty good size for somebody who's not going to turn 2019 until Christmas Eve.
So by the time he turns 23, he should be like 7 feet.
Yeah, he might be 6'9" by the time it's all said and done. We'll have to see.
At 23 to add 2 inches. Congratulations, Lonnie. I'm glad you're still growing.
Hey, yeah, we appreciate everybody spending their midday break out here with us at Twin Peaks. And we do have a big game tonight. This is the best NFC East matchup yet on the season. It's a young season as we close out week 3. I wouldn't want to do it any other way than AT&T Stadium opener. Cowboys get to host the Eagles Monday Night Football. They hate each other, or at least the fans don't like each other that much. The players, there's a lot of new rotation there. Zeke said he stays in his lane when asked about the Nick Sirianni beat Dallas. Nick just got here, so he's like, this is what we do, right? And Zeke's like, nah, it ain't that serious. But to the fans, it is. So everybody out here at Twin Peaks definitely going to, be supporting the Cowboys, I can tell. The entire staff are Cowboys fans out here, so more of a reason for y'all to catch the game out here tonight at Westover Hills Marketplace.
There we go.
Hey, out on 410. So go ahead, just put it in your Google GPS. Don't trust Rob's directions. Or
go to
you're not
where
going to remember it.
The big cages used to be at Southwest Research. Go to where Calabra's exit used to be. Go past that, and then take a right where 151 is now built, but it didn't used to be there, and then you could find it.
Just Google it. Just Google it if you're like me and a millennial, a damn millennial, as I call it. All right. Hey, we get into Monday Night Football when we get back here on halftime. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Fall baseball and crisp air and that special sound. A crack of the bat in Major League Baseball, the playoff run, and the Fall Classic. The World Series can be heard right here. What's going to make that memorable moment that stands the test of time?
Swing and a high fly ball. Right field. On its way out of here.
Follow it all right here. Major League Baseball's playoffs and World Series from San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
These are the final days, the final hours of Diamonds Direct's incredible finance offer. You have until Saturday at 6 p.m. to take advantage of 5 years zero-interest financing. That's on any purchase. Buy now. Spread your payments over 5 whole years with zero interest. Response has been incredible, but this amazing offer comes to an end on Saturday and will not be extended. Don't miss the year's best buying opportunity at Diamonds Direct. 5 years zero interest through Saturday at 6 p.m. Get directions, details, and more now at diamondsdirect.com.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. So 82% of you listening will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. 82% of you will note that if you're hiring, ZipRecruiter finds qualified people for your job. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And 82% of you will remember that you can try ZipRecruiter for free, but you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Yes, free. Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Blake Stevens with San Antonio-based GPS of Texas. If you have commercial vehicles on the road, you're a target for personal injury lawyers. I mean, you're wearing a bullseye. Our system can protect you if there is an accident with proof of speed, video monitoring, even proof that your driver wasn't on his phone. Don't get hammered. Have real proof that you weren't at fault by installing our GPS camera tracking system. Call GPS of Texas at 210-587-7634 or gpsoftexas.com.
Welcome to Texas, where the sun is beaming down and can damage the interior of your car, even in lower temperatures. Unless you go to Mother's Window Tint, home of the Tint and Alarm Special, where you can also buy a new car stereo since 1984.
1984? That's impressive.
Mother's Window Tint has tinted cars and trucks to stop the sun from damaging their interiors. Texans like dark privacy window tint. Come to Mother's and get some. Legal and guaranteed a lifetime. Remember to protect yourself and your family. Buy an alarm today from Mother's. Starter kill, remote start, GPS locator, 24-hour live monitoring. Save $100 on the tint and alarm package of your choice. San Antonio and Austin stores. MothersWindowTint.com.
Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
Billy Bob's Beds, greatest store on earth. Nobody sells sure to perfect sleepers, cheapers. We're the biggest store in San Antonio. We've got 100 different mattresses to choose from. We're having a big sale this weekend. Nobody beats my prices or money. It's not Billy Bob.
Billy Bob, I went to another store. They had a luxury queen size set for $12.99. What can you do?
I got one just like it for $4.99. So get off my phone, get over here, and save yourself a fortune on a mattress. It's going to make you late to work.
Billy Bob, you got credit and do you deliver?
I've got interest-free credit, and baby, do I deliver. Log on to BillyBobsBeds.com and check out our internet special.
Billy Bob's Beds is having a huge inventory clearance sale with discounts up to 80% off. You can get any Stein & Richter pillow top mattress, twin, full, or queen for only $199. And now you can shop our in-store collection online at BillyBobsBeds.com and then pick up your items the same day in-store. Get over to Billy Bob's Beds before 6 p.m. That's BillyBobsBeds.com.
Ooh, Billy Bob, I'm headed your way.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
One team, one mission. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM. Rob Thompson, Carl Schoening. Halftime.
It's halftime here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. Half two of halftime.
How about join us? We're live at Twin Peaks, 151 and 410. Going to be here for another hour. Get your swag. Come out and enjoy the specials. An icy cold brew. 29 degrees as I see above the bar. Oh, just jumped up to warmed up to 30. Almost warmed up to 30. Twin Peaks spectacular. The Bourbon and Brews party's on Friday. Way to begin the weekend. Don't forget Dallas Cowboys tonight. You catch the game right here at Twin Peaks. Dallas Cowboys right here on San Antonio Sports Star, always brought to you by E-Wall Kubota. That's a fine tractor and AA Best Bail Bonds. We'll get you going through the pregame all the way till 7 o'clock kickoff right here on San Antonio Sports Star. It's a good Monday afternoon.
Can't wait until the game tonight, though. I got up at around 3 o'clock this morning, got all my work done. I'm going to get my nap in so this game comes in a little bit quicker for me because, that time doesn't count when you can just fast forward through to sleep. And then, it's going to be a good night for the Eagles. I'm going to project without putting money on it. I know a lot of our listeners have been asking me to put money on it. I'm not going to put money on the Eagles winning, but if I were gambling, man, I would actually have the Cowboys. My heart's telling me Philly by a touchdown.
As we sit, FBI Cowboys have a 67.4% chance of winning. Caesars has Dallas favored by 4 and over-under at 51.5. I like the under on that. This will be the 27th time that the Eagles and the Cowboys have met in prime time since 1970. That's tied with the Raiders and the Chargers for the most during that span. It'll be the first meeting between the Eagles and the Cowboys since 2008. That year, the Cowboys won 43-37. It was the highest scoring game in the rivalry and known for the Deshaun Jackson dropping the ball before he crossed the end zone. By the way, Deshaun Jackson made an appearance with the Rams yesterday. I didn't have any idea he was still there, and he's still carrying the ball like a loaf of bread. Cowboys' 83rd game on Monday Night Football. That's the second most. Who do you guys think has the most appearances on Monday Night Football? This is a bit surprising to me. The Miami Dolphins have the record for Monday Night Football with 85 appearances. Now, Cowboy fans, this is a tough one. Have lost 7 straight primetime games, which is the second longest active losing streak behind the Giants, and also their longest since the merger. So while Zeke seems to be performing quite well in primetime games, they seem to be losing those games, wasting the 96-yard average that Zeke has had in the previous games. Cowboys have 6 straight games with at least 400 yards with Dak Prescott. They're averaging 472 yards per game over the last 2 games. 319 per game with anyone else starting. I don't even know what that means. Dak Prescott has 5 straight games with an interception, which is the longest streak in his career. That Philadelphia will hope to capitalize on that. Tonight, I do feel like the best defense that Philadelphia can offer against that Cowboy offense is to hold on to the ball, go plodding and slow. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the time of possession held on to, lots of punts, lots of field position football for the Eagles. Whereas the Cowboys, I think, are going to rip it and grow. I think they're going to try to score at every opportunity, look for gash plays, look for deep plays to get Philadelphia behind, make them have to force passes, and then start taking advantage of that opportunistic defense.
I'm on the other side of that fence. I'm pretty sure they're going to feed Zeke and Pollard early and often, and why not? Because those 2 guys have been putting up ridiculous numbers to start the year. Surprisingly, as receiving running backs, let's start off with Tony Pollard, 16 carries for 123 yards, averaging 7.7 carries or yards per carry with the touchdown. But really, where he shines is in the making catches out of the backfield. 60 catches for 60 reception yards so far on the season. And on the other side, Ezekiel Elliott has also been putting up some numbers. He has 23 reception yards. So those 2 guys, they've become, at least in Kellen Moore's offense, more of threats making the catch out of the backfield. But then Zeke still doing it on the ground, not as much because they are featuring Pollard, but those 2 guys sort of evening out the workload for each other makes them a very dangerous backfield. And then maybe they start to pass a little bit. And Dak, please pick CeeDee Lamb tonight. Both Frank Valdez and I need you to pick up some points as Frank Valdez joins us on Facebook Live. You can also join us on YouTube or my favorite, sasportstar.com. Frank Valdez says, I'll be rooting for the boys. I need Lamb to get me at least 15 points to get the win. I just need Dak to pick Lamb over Amari Cooper. But getting back to the game, the team that who commits the most turnovers will probably come away with the loss. The Eagles haven't committed a turnover so far in the season, yet they also haven't forced one. So to this point, I'm going to be curious to see what's going to give. And if the Eagles can hold on and just keep status quo of not allowing or not getting back any extra possessions, it'll just come down to, can they finish drives? Because they couldn't finish drives against the 49ers, and you know that that's been a point of emphasis this week for Sirianni and the Eagles. Got to get points up on that board.
Eagles have lost 3 straight games in the NFC East, their longest division losing streak since 2016. If Pollard gets 100 yards tonight, it'll be the first time a Dallas Cowboy running back has gotten 100 yards in 2 consecutive games since Zeke back 2 years ago. The Eagle defense is good. They ain't great. They still have Fletcher Cox. That front 4 is still solid. They did lose defensive end Brandon. I forget his last
Brandon
name.
Graham, yeah.
Brandon Graham. That's going to hurt them tremendously. And I do think that's a great benefit to the Cowboys offensive line. Keeping in mind, there will be no Lael Collins. We haven't even begun to talk about him trying to bribe the urinalysis taker. the urine harvester or whatever you want to call the USADA test type guy. So they will have Terrence Steele, San Antonio's own, starting at right tackle as we sit. And Tyler Biadasz is going to have to continue that steady, if not spectacular, growth in at center. He is going to be valuable this evening because Fletcher Cox is a beast. He and Zach Martin have their hands full as they try to get the tackles or get the running game going between the tackles, as Zeke, I'm sure, wants to do.
I wonder why they don't mention Fletcher Cox among the best defensive linemen in the league, because he really is underrated like that. Maybe I just don't hear it, but it's surprising to me that he doesn't get the same clout as some of these bigger players like a J.J. Watt or an Aaron Donald and so on and so forth. But this will be an interesting stat for Vegas people, not so much having too much to do with tonight's game, but the Eagles have lost 3 straight games at AT&T Stadium. They've never lost 4 straight games to Dallas since they were winning Super Bowls from 92 to 95. So does that really have much to do about tonight's game? It's funny how things like that don't tend to repeat themselves, because this is not anywhere near those early 90s Cowboys.
No, it's not. This does have the look, or at least the early feel of a trap game, because the Cowboys have played well enough to beat the Bucs, though they didn't, and really snatched a victory from a loss that could have imminently happened. I think they're feeling pretty good about themselves. It's been the turnovers that have gotten them there. It's 3 a game by that defense, and that's kept them in there. Well, I don't think Philadelphia's going to put themselves in a situation to turn the ball over. It's going to be a test for that defense, especially the edges, the defensive ends and the outside linebackers, because if I'm Sirianni, I'm coming into this game thinking the only way I'm going to win is if Jalen Hurts rushes for 75 to 80 yards. He's going to have to be a threat in the running game. And the way they do that with the RPOs, I am going to victimize the edge. I'm going to make sure that those rookie or young defensive ends that are reading the quarterback are going to have to deal with it all game long, which will mean for longer drives, less opportunity for turnovers, and it'll force the Cowboys to maybe put it in the air a little bit to get that lead that I think they're chasing. That's where the issue will come tonight. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game, because I think both offenses are going to try to keep the ball on the ground and hold onto that clock to protect both of their defenses.
Siberian Sneaks joins us on Facebook Live. He says, I feel like the Cowboys linebackers are going to have a very hard time managing the speed of Hurts and Sanders. This is their biggest test of the year. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, I would. This is it's a conference game. Are they as good as the Chargers? Absolutely not. Are they as good as the Bucs? No. But there is the familiarity. There is the contempt that breeds. And he's right. This is the fastest backfield and edge we're going to see. And we can't forget Dallas Goddard, who was a guy that the Cowboys had kind of circled as they were looking for a tight end a couple of years back. They end up with Blake Jarwin, but they did look at Goddard. I think that he's an effective weapon, and it wouldn't surprise me tonight to see Goddard be Jalen Hurts' most effective weapon in the passing game, just because he's traditionally been the tight end, at least in this offense, is certainly the safety net and the safety belt for Jalen Hurts. So there is enough offense there for Philadelphia to win the football game if the Cowboys can't generate more turnovers.
And Zach Ertz is back off COVID protocol, making more easy target possibilities for Jalen Hurts. Dallas Goddard probably still the number one tight end, but Ertz obviously no slouch himself, and for a while there I had him as one of the top 3 tight ends in the league. But you know what they say about the NFL, not for long. That was back during the Wentz days, and that was the Wentz prime days, not last year. How about this stat? This is an interesting one. Cowboys are 3-23 when scoring fewer than 20 points in a game since 2017.
Well, I hate stats like that, because most teams are going to have a losing record if they're under 20 points a game. You come out and say, they're 3-23 when they only score 20. Guess what? We're 0-50 when we don't score any points. I mean, that's a stat you could pull out to justify a lot of things, though I do agree that if Zeke isn't moving, if they're not able to complete and get 14, 24, 28 points as they progress, it's telling me that the offense is sputtering. So I think that's a valuable stat to know. And the fact is, any team scoring under 20, you ain't winning very many football games, especially in the NFC East.
Yeah, and especially in this era since 2017, that's not likely. But overall, the Eagles have been pretty good defensively. Only 6 points scored by Atlanta in week 1 and only 17 points scored by San Francisco last week. So we talk about it. That defense for the Eagles is rated number 1 in the NFL. Cowboys come in at 6. It's going to be a defensive struggle. What'd you say the over-under was?
Like right
51.5?
I like the under on this one.
I agree. Yeah, and that'll probably be the determining factor who has the better defense in this early season, where you weren't expecting this from the Cowboys. Maybe you were expecting it from the Eagles, maybe not quite this high, but they also have a chance to go up against two pretty talented offenses in their own right. The Eagles know how to move the ball. They just don't know how to score the ball, at least as of last week. And I'll tell you what, Dak Prescott, he's looking like a top 5 quarterback, and let's see how long he can sustain that.
Don't forget, we're live out at Twin Peaks. We'll be here till 2 o'clock. Come out and pick up some swag. We're going to give away some Comic-Con tickets coming up here in a couple of minutes for you Comic-Con types. It's coming up to October the 8th. It's the Big Texas Comic-Con. You're into it. Keep listening. We're going to have the tickets to give away in just a couple of minutes. What, Carl?
Oh, I was trying to get you to cue the countdown. You want me to cue the countdown?
No,
hey, let's go to Carl's countdown.
I thought you were pointing. Yeah, it is time for the countdown. Let Carl get you all caught up with what the news that you need to know as you head back to work.
Carl's Countdown.
All right, headline 2. The Los Angeles Clippers say no one knows the time frame for Kawhi Leonard's return to play from an ACL injury, as he had ACL surgery without anybody knowing about that either.
Yeah, the Bomber building a big, new, beautiful building. Billions of dollars of investment. And his star player isn't happy to be out with him, nor do we know when he'll play again. Congratulations, you got everything you paid for, Bomber. Good luck with that.
It's a 10 to 14-month recovery period, so there's a good chance Kawhi doesn't play this season.
Oh, I don't think he'll play this season. I think there will be one small benefit to the ACL, is it's going to give him a full year off from that quad that is slowly deteriorating. At the end of his career, Kawhi will blame the end of his shortened career because of this deteriorating quad that even Toronto knew about. This load management stuff isn't just a joke. There's a reason why they're doing that. It's because the front quad, the front part of his thigh is deteriorating, and it's not going to get any better. At the very least, this year off, which I assume it will be, will at least maybe give him a little bit more time to rehab it. But it's not like Kawhi is going to have a long and illustrious career. That leg is not going to hold up for him. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I think Bomber's in a pickle here.
So, of the two of the 4 teams that had home court advantage in the Western Conference playoffs last year, Denver and the Clippers are out their best scorers in Jamal Murray and Kawhi Leonard. Do you see them staying in the playoff hunt?
Oh, Denver certainly is. That's a very good basketball team. They showed us they can win without Jamal Murray. I do expect to see Jamal back probably by All-Star break, rejuvenated and ready to go, but they got enough scoring even without him. When you have the MVP, you got Michael Porter Jr., I think that there's enough talent there to get themselves close enough to be in the fight. And with a healthy Jamal Murray, they're a semifinal to a Western Conference finalist team.
All righty. Moving on, headline 1, UTSA receives votes in both national polls following the 31-28 comeback victory over Memphis.
So Memphis did too?
Did they?
Yes, they did. Local writers hanging true. That was the biggest win in UTSA's short football history, and we're going to have probably 2 more big wins by the end of the year. Coach Traylor has this team believing. That triangle travels, as he told us earlier this morning on R&R in the morning. If you missed any of Coach Traylor and you need to go listen to it, go to AA Best Bail Bonds audio vault there at SA Sports Star and catch up with Coach Traylor. He was on with us a little after 9 o'clock this morning. What he talked about was a belief in their system, a belief in the plan. They talked about being tougher. They went up into Memphis. They were running the ball. They get behind the 8 ball a couple of times, a bad missed snap, a bad turnover, a deep pass, and before you know it, they're down 14. They kept pounding Sincere McCormick, who finished with 42 carries and damn near 200 yards. They out-toughed them. They got meaner and nastier than Memphis was and took the game to them. It was an extraordinary win, and it's one of those signpost victories that when we look back on the history of what UTSA football will become, it'll start with this season First in Illinois, and then up in Memphis when they first got their couple of votes for national ranking. Huge weekend for UTSA. Hey, sports fans, they're playing in the Dome this Saturday against a UNLV team that is 0-4. Let's go rip that place up. Go get your tickets. Get downtown. Go celebrate this orange and blue. Birds up, baby. This is a lot of fun. And I'm speaking as an Aggie who had his nuts kicked in on Saturday. Got to find a Sancha. It might be UTSA. I'm in it.
What does UTSA need to do to break that top 25?
Just keep winning. If UTSA was Boise State, they'd already be in the top 25. If UTSA's call letters were UCF, they would be in the top 25. It's just that nobody knows about them. At least the voters don't. But the good news is when you watch game day, when you watch the pundits, whether it be ESPN or Fox or wherever else, UTSA is in their mouth. They're talking about them. They're giving game stickers. This is huge for Coach Traylor in recruiting. When those kids could turn on the TV on Saturday and hear UTSA talked about, think about the quality of recruit that would come in and play for a coach like this. This is the beginning of something completely special. And the only way that it gets screwed up is if a team like Texas Tech doesn't start calling, because Tech's looking for a coach. And I tell you what, if I'm the AD in Lubbock, I am calling Coach Traylor's agent today after what I saw from that terrible Matt Wells coach football team. I'm telling you, I'm worried about Coach Traylor. We need to pay the man, lock him up for a decade.
I can agree with that and pretty much everything you said. Hey, Rudy J joins us out here at Twin Peaks, and we want to bring him on for Headline Zero. Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau. Yeah, that mic's hot. Shake hands and hug it out after winning the Ryder Cup. You were the one who paid attention to the Ryder Cup. You roll your eyes at that headline. What do you think?
Oh, great win, 19-9. You know, that was a whitewashing.
They love each other now?
No.
Brooksy?
That was for cameras, you know. But no, that doesn't mean anything to me. Nothing at all.
I didn't watch nearly enough of it, certainly on Sunday. Was it like a celebration for these guys, or were they guardedly optimistic till they won? Even though they were kicking.
I think they were guarded because we've seen some crazy comebacks. They kind of kept it humble. But you got to remember who their captain is. Steve Stricker is a guy that you don't know if he's pretty even. You don't know if he's in first place or if he's in last place. So you kind of take on the personality of your captain. And, you know, so I think it was kind of even killed. Then you got a guy like Dustin Johnson. I mean, he's like the Tim Duncan of golf. Great golfer, probably one of the best to ever do it. You wouldn't know. Just kind of goes about his business. So, but as far as the hug it out and clap it up with the DeChambeau and Koepka, missed me with that. But back to your headline one, was that one with UTSA?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Co-defensive player of the year, conference, Clarence Hicks, and special teams player of the year was their kicker, UTSA. So 2 conference USA players of the week.
And Sincere didn't get offensive player of the week?
I know. I don't know who did. Maybe they're going to announce
you got to do.
Maybe they're going to 84. Maybe they're going to announce it later. You know what it is, Rob? I think he's got the LeBron syndrome.
Maybe.
Like
that's it. That's what
you give it to him every week. So yeah,
Sincere,
go Ryder Cup, go USA.
Heisman candidate. Come on, SID. Come on, UTSA. Get that out there. Let's get some bobbleheads out there.
Some billboards.
We'll get some billboards. No, the key is you just got to start writing all the sports writers. You got to send them a little something.
You send them, I'm so sincere.
There we go.
I've been rolling with that. I'm so sincere, McCormick.
I like it. A little bit of the NIL money too. We need to get him some NIL money at some point.
I think one of their players has Pinkertons.
Oh, good, cool.
One of them has Pinkertons. Is it Sincere or Wisdom? Either Sincere or Wisdom. One of them has Pinkertons. Got to get a little going out money, a little shoe money. You know what I mean? Nothing. It's not.
It's not $1 million. Bryce Young at Alabama.
It's not Kane's $5 million, but he getting some extra go out money.
Show your love. We had Coach Traylor on. He goes, show your love a lot of ways. Follow him on Twitter. Follow UTSA Athletic Department on Twitter.
Always.
Buy a ticket. Go downtown and watch the Cowboys, the Roadrunners play. Saturday, 5 o'clock, UNLV will be in town. This is a game that, Coach Traylor will tell you how scary they are. They're 0-4. They played hard against some very good teams, but quite frankly have not won. And
they're going to need us.
Close. Well, they need us this week, but more importantly, they have done their job. All we ask of our teams is go win. If you win, we'll show up. San Antonio is a walk-up market. That's what we're known as. We don't jump on bandwagons until the bandwagon is wide open to jump on. Well, guess what, fan? We haven't seen you in a couple years. We haven't seen you since Frank Wilson rolled over on Baylor a couple years ago. It's time to put on those orange jerseys. Yeah. It's time to put on those blue shirts and get downtown on Saturday. I want to see 30,000 in the Dome. Let's double what we've seen.
Amen.
Go see this.
Y'all have 7 devices, 2 phones, 2 laps, 3 iPads. This is
my watch count?
Oh, don't forget about the Apple
Watches.
Oh, yeah.
You got a smart. We'll have 9 smart devices for 2 people for 2 hours.
I got to get my screen addiction in. My eyes won't allow me not to see a screen.
Carl,
we got so many screens all over the place.
I'm disappointed that you got lost. Yes, I was listening.
I didn't get lost. I have GPS. I wouldn't know how to get here. But I have GPS.
I heard Rob giving you crap, and then I heard you say don't do Rob's directions. So I'm like, did Carl get lost?
No, I tell you, he put it in. He got here fine, but he was saying this is the first time he'd been.
This far out.
A long time since he's been to this part.
Believe it or not, there was a minor league basketball association weekend championship somewhere out here. So I've been out here in the last couple of years. That was pre-pandemic, so it feels like 5 years ago.
I got you.
But yeah, no, this is the first time I've been out here in a while, and Rob tried to direct me. He was like, okay, you're going to go out towards Austin Highway and then get on this road and get on that road. And I'm just, I was asking him, it's like, we're going over to Westover 410, Twin Peaks. That's where we are. If you want to join us, we only got about 30 minutes left at halftime.
Yeah, come on through.
Yeah, that's
you can see Nick, Shelton, Edwin.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They're kissing babies.
Taking names.
Look, Shelton kept his on. Anyways, we got a break.
We appreciate everybody coming out here, especially Rudy J, to give us his golf analysis at Westover Hills Marketplace. Twin Peaks. That's what it was.
Let's not kid ourselves.
Teamwork make the dream work.
Hey, are you a nerd like me? Pledger back there, maybe even. Hey, if you're on the Pledger level, I got something for you. The Big Texas Comic-Con, this pop culture event of the year. Big Texas Comic-Con returns to the Alamo City October 8th through the 10th this year at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center. Ticket holders will also have a meet and greet opportunity with fan favorites, including actors Martin Kove from Netflix's Cobra Kai series, Doug Jones from The Shape of Water, Hellboy, Star Trek Discovery, What We Do in the Shadows, Ron Thomas, also of Cobra Kai and The Karate Kid.
Who? I don't know any of these people. None of this is making me want to go.
I'm hoping the people that want
to tell me that like Tony Stark's going to be there. Like I'm going to see the Hulk or some.
I'm looking. I don't see anybody on that level.
Cobra Kai ain't enough to sell me a ticket. That's why we're giving them away.
But if it interests you, call James Pledger right now and tell them who you are going to dress up in cosplay as. We want to see your pictures about it a little later. And James Pledger will give you everything you need to get hooked up with those tickets for the Big Texas Comic-Con, October 8th to 10th.
How are we giving them away?
Oh, we're going to give them away over the Kielbasa Bacon phone line. Thank you for reminding me and giving out the number. You can call us at 210-656-ESPN. Call James Pledger at 210-656-3776.
What number? How are we going to give them away? Are you going to impress
Did you not hear me say it again?
No, say it again.
They got to tell me who they're dressing up as.
Who are they
They got to tell me who you're dressing up as and call in the Kielbasa Bacon phone line.
Is it the first person that says they're dressing up?
Or it's the first person. Fastest fingers pledge. Give it to the fastest fingers. Absolutely. And make it somebody that will make James Pledger laugh. He's dressed up today as Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think it's
Lord.
Oh, I think it's awesome. You should see how good he looks in this leather jacket. I can't pull it off.
Okay.
But Pledger does. All righty. Thank you all for spending your midday break with us. I have not gotten a text confirmation, but we're going to try and talk to Rod Babers when we get back here because they had a dominating 70-35 win over Texas Tech. You don't want to miss what this former semifinalist of the Thorpe Award has to say about the Longhorns' win over Texas Tech here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The Blitz, sports talk, and everything else.
Pledges Houston Texans. He's on pins and needles as they go to play Cleveland.
For a different reason, though.
Yeah, you always act like you're on pins and needles, man. You can't sit still. So you're always bouncing around. I never know if you're nervous about the game or it's just, pledge time. What did Rob say? You make coffee nervous? Yeah. You're always going.
Jason Minix, weekday afternoons 4 to 7 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Jason Minix here for Alamo Water Softeners. Whether your home is a new build or an older home, Alamo Water Softeners has a water treatment bundle with special pricing to give your home the highest quality water treatment available. Choose from several bundles, including the Premier Whole Home Bundle. Get a free standard gas or electric water heater when you purchase a select top-of-the-line water softener, plus one filter and reverse osmosis system. Go to AlamoWaterSofteners.com. That's AlamoWaterSofteners.com. It's game day, Cowboy fans. Cowboys, Eagles tonight. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys and San Antonio Sports Star. We're throwing a watch party out at the I-10 Ice House starting at 4 with a live broadcast of the Blitz, and then watch the Cowboys take on the Eagles. From 4 to 7, we're going to have hourly prizes to give away, including Cowboy game tickets, Miller Lite Cowboys out-of-box cooler, a Drew Pearson Hall of Fame standee, and other great prizes. And Miller Lite long necks during the game for just $2.08. We'll see you this afternoon at 4 at the I-10 Ice House. If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-990-6271 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. Been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? Call U.S. Pharmacy at 800-990-6271 for as little as only $119 for 90 pills. Need your package in a hurry? Call 800-990-6271 and ask about our express shipping option, and we'll rush your order to you as soon as possible. Save money on the little blue or yellow pill you've been wanting to try. Again, 800-990-6271 now. That's 800-990-6271.
When you need an electrician, Hill Electric is available 24/7 for residential and commercial needs. If you're having to rework your office, let Hill Electric design your socially distanced space to ensure each workstation has the proper electrical needs. For over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. There is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074, or go to hill-electric.com.
My name is Dale Pozinski. I'm 19 years old, and this is how I live united. I've always been kind of a computer geek, and I found a way to use those skills to help the homeless in my community. For people facing hard times, computer skills and a basic resume are so important. It may seem like a small thing, but it makes a huge difference in people's lives. So with United Way, I created a program where I work with the homeless. Together, we go through their whole job history, write a resume, and then save it on their very own USB drive. We provide workbooks and training certificates. I even budgeted for cupcakes so we can celebrate as a class when one of our people gets a job. That's huge. When somebody says, "Hey man, that job that you helped me apply for, I got it." That's what living united feels like to me. My name is Dale Pozinski. I help people achieve financial independence. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Drawing up the game plan for the second half of the day. It's halftime with Rob Thompson and Carl Schoening on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
It's halftime here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. We love it when we are joined by one of the best corners at the University of Texas in his time, the first team All Big 12 member of 2002's UT team, a Thorpe Award semifinalist, and the host of RBKD up there in Austin on the Horn in the afternoons. Rod Babers, one of the best football minds I know, joins us on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. Rod, I'm sure you had a fun time after that win.
Oh man, it was a great time. Actually, it was one of those things where I thought it was all gas, no brakes. Texas was, up by 35 points in the third quarter, and I think they put the brakes on, and I can't blame them. They probably could have got to 100, I think, if they wanted to.
Rod Babers joining us here on halftime. A couple things to take away. First of all, how did Casey Thompson not get the start to begin the season? What was the separator? Because, quite frankly, it seems like a no-brainer after what we saw yesterday and the week before, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's interesting. Stark now is admitting that Casey Thompson is a bit of a gamer. He admitted that after the Rice game, that term that some guys, they don't practice at a really high level, but when they get in the games, they can play at a really high level. And he admitted that last week, that there's a bit of a gamer aspect to Casey Thompson, so he may have misevaluated in that aspect. But, the truth is that, Casey's got a lot of great leadership qualities. This team was very accustomed to the leadership of a Sam Ellinger, which was a very vocal leader. Hudson Card has a different type of leadership, a more quiet leadership. And I don't think the team responded to his leadership as well as they responded to Casey's. So I think they're just used to that. My man Quan Crosby brought that up. And also something, I'll give you some numbers in the last 27 drives that Casey Thompson has been the quarterback of. He's actually led Texas to points on 24 of the 27 drives. Actually, he's led Texas to points on touchdowns on 18 of the last 22 drives. So the offense just clicks when he's in there. I gave you guys my little mantra about picking a certain quarterback. It's like picking a significant other. The woman you marry is not the hottest woman you ever dated. She was the one that was most compatible with you. Casey's more compatible with the team right now and more compatible with the offense. The offensive line has issues, but he can extend the play. He can run. He can scramble. The wide receivers have trouble getting open. He can extend the play, give them more time to get open. There's a lot of things that he brings to the table right now that are assets for this team. He's the catalyst.
Rob Babers joining us on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. He knows a whole lot about the Texas Longhorns, and he knows a whole lot about football. Rob and I have been trying to figure out, Rod, Bijan Robinson, he had 18 carries for 137 yards. He didn't get in on the touchdown party in the end zone on the stat sheet, but he was definitely responsible for it. Who does he remind you of?
Oh, man, that's really good. I don't know if there is anybody off of we had this comparison conversation between, friends of mine and other fans, and we can't really think of anybody. Even Ricky Williams said that it's tough to really get a true adequate comparison because he's such a mix of a lot of different skills. He's got great power. I think he's forced 36 missed tackles so far this season in 4 games. He always makes the first defender miss. And he's fast. Bucky Godbolt, who coached Ricky Williams, who does our morning show, he said he's faster than Ricky Williams. So he's faster than Ricky, according to his old football coach. And there are a lot of people that think that he could probably have played, the 8th wide receiver role, could play in the slot, and Stark uses him in the slot. He's actually caught a couple of passes in the slot from the 4 at a 4 wide spread formation. So, he does a lot of different things. I don't know if I really can do him justice by giving him a comparison. I don't have one right now, but I think he's the best running back in the country. Not too burnt orange glasses. Guys, no, I don't do that. I think he might be the best running back in the country right now.
Rod, there ain't no doubt he is the best running back in the country. Though there's one down here at the University of Texas San Antonio, Sincere McCormick, that might beg to differ just a little bit. But it is extraordinary to have that kind of back and the protection he offers Casey Thompson and how he ended up with no touchdowns with a 70-point output. That almost seems like by design. You almost feel like you need to give him one late just for all the work that he did. As well as he played, Xavier Worthy played as well as you could have expected there. When we're seeing this kind of point output and your experience as a defensive guy, especially up there around the 40 acres, what's the biggest concern coming in against TCU? Is there a worry of a letdown after we saw TCU go down to SMU last week? Was it by design to press the gas and go get 70 just to kind of shake off the rust and get things going? Are you worried at all about the next couple of weeks?
I think Longhorn fans have to be, right? I mean, the fact that TCU is 7-2 versus Texas in the last 9 meetings. And by the way, give you a little factoid. I know TCU just lost to SMU. They are 2-8 the week prior to the Texas week in the last 10 years. So they often lose before they play Texas, get motivated, come out with a hell of a game plan, come out fired up, and then that's when they put the shellacking on Texas. So, it's going to be a test. Last time they went on the road, faced some adversity versus Arkansas, the team did not respond really well. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, I think Sark's output, I'll give you a great stat about that offensive output the last 2 weeks. Texas has not punted in back-to-back games for the first time in school history. Didn't punt versus Rice, didn't punt versus Texas Tech. And that is a crazy, freaky stat that kind of blows your mind, but it just shows you how this offense is clicking. And you're right, they've had, now they've weaponized Xavier Worthy. He's got 12 receptions, 188 yards the last 2 weeks. We know Jordan Whittington, what he can do from the slot. And you see Stark starting to move a lot of pieces around, find those matchup advantages. He's using a lot of different personnel packages. He uses 20 personnel, 2 back, 0 tight ends, 1 back, 2 tight ends. You'll see him throw out 11 personnel. He's a lot more variety in his offense than you had in Tom Herman's offense. And right now, Texas has the 3rd-ranked offense in the country. Ironically, they're ahead of Alabama, who's at number 4. No concern about the offense. The biggest concern, guys, would be on defense. The defensive backs, the cornerbacks have been giving up some deep bombs lately. If you look at the game versus Arkansas, Deshaun Jameson gave up a 40-yard bomb versus Texas Tech. Deshaun Jameson gave up a 69-yard touchdown and a 75-yard touchdown. So that would be the concern going against TCU. Can these corners hold up? Is there a challenge to the ball?
Gary Patterson plays possum before the Texas game. I did not realize that. Now, certainly after the 70-point whooping, now they're starting to look. You got to look toward OU here in a couple of weeks. Are there whispers around there that feeling pretty good about the game coming up in Dallas?
I know, man. Looking at the Big 12 right now is absolutely crazy. Oklahoma doesn't look like the national title contender that we all expected them to be before the season started. Iowa State has fallen off a cliff, but we know they can be dangerous late in the season because they get better as the season goes on. Oklahoma State playing good football, but it's because of their defense that they're winning, not really their offense. And of course, we just talked about TCU. They could be a sleep on the corner. And look at Baylor. Who thought Baylor would be a team right now that's ranked in the top 25, playing some good football? So, the Big 12 is wacky. I will say this. If you're a Longhorn fan, you should be excited because Texas, in this crazy, wacky Big 12, they got as good a shot as anybody, in my opinion, to win the whole damn thing. That's all you could have asked for from Sarkisian in his first year.
Absolutely. Rod Babers joins us here on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. This is halftime. Rod, you look up and we're already a quarter of the way through the season. I know that speed bump that was the Arkansas game was a little rough for Longhorn fans, but now 2 weeks in, as they head into this real meat of their schedule, do you think that's smoothed out a little bit and Longhorn fans are confident about their team again?
I think Longhorn fans are confident right now.
I think so too.
I think they're really confident, but I think Longhorn fans have been here before, guys. We've been here before, and especially going into the game with TCU and Oklahoma. So we just don't know how good Texas Tech was. Rice, Rice is Rice. So I think everything needs to be taken into context. That Texas Tech may end up being a team that's struggling to make a bowl this year if they can't get it together. Who knows? And we have no idea how good Rice is. So the last time this team was on the road and they faced adversity on the road, it was Arkansas, and they got pummeled. But I will say this: the Kim Kardashian, Nicki Minaj, Serena Williams, Cardi B size butt is that Casey Thompson didn't start that game. And Casey Thompson is the catalyst right now. And he is the guy that seems to be able to bring some new juice to this offense and to this team. Right now, guys, he has the highest QBR in the Big 12. And based on Pro Football Focus grade, he's the 4th highest rated quarterback in Week 4 in college football. He's having a hell of a season so far. He's completing 78% of his passes as well.
Awesome. Rod Babers joined us on the Kielbasa Bacon phone line. Always a great interview and a wealth of knowledge. Rod, thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey, thanks, fellas. I appreciate y'all. Let me have some time.
Rod Babers is a baller, man. I'll tell you, Texas fans should be over the moon. What did you hire Sark to do? You hired him to do that. You hired him to do what he did on Saturday, is to hang it on a team and keep going. Keep going. 70, if they could have gotten 77, I wouldn't have been surprised. You hang it, you beat them, and you let the national writers figure it out after that. That's what Texas is going to have to do until we can get past this Texas is back crap. Because, yeah, they're there. They're on their way. But they're doing exactly what they need to do. I found the best thing that he told us was that Gary Patterson plays possum before the Texas game. And you looked at what they did against SMU, and it did kind of feel like the Patterson was holding back. I don't think they have a prayer, but at least he's got the history, and Sark can point to previous outcomes to say that just because they lost to SMU doesn't mean they're bad.
Whoa. That was not the best thing he said.
What was the best thing
he said was, for the first time in school history, Texas hadn't punted in 2 games. Casey Thompson has driven this team to points
against
in
Rice
24 of his 27 drives, including dating back to Arkansas.
The Arkansas numbers I will count. Rice is a JV team. Tech might very well be.
Rice hung in there with Arkansas.
They did. And what they did against Arkansas should be looked pretty fondly on. But since then, Arkansas beat the snot out of them, and they haven't been able to recover. It has been an impressive couple of games, but Texas can't get too high right now. This offense is good. It's good enough to carry them, but there's something up with OU. Don't look past them, though. I think that Texas it's an easy slide to the Big 12 title if they can get past these next 2 weeks.
Well, it's a particular schedule coming up. All righty, and maybe Texas is back. We'll have to see. I wouldn't get too premature on that one, Pledger. All right, thank you all for spending your midday break with us here on Halftime. We're wrapping it up. When we come back, it's Spurs Media Day. We'll get you the best highlights of it so far, as that'll also be wrapping up at 2. This is San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM.
The Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles, 2 bitter rivals, 1 big night. Get the action live tonight starting at 7:15. Sponsored by AA Best Bail Bonds and Ewald Kubota. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM. ESPN AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
The UTSA Roadrunners football team had their largest come-from-behind victory in program history on Saturday versus Memphis. Down 21-0 in the first half, UTSA would eventually beat the Tigers 31-28. Thanks to a last-second field goal, UTSA is 4-0 and received votes in both top 25 polls. The Houston Astros had a chance to clinch the AL West this weekend, but instead are on a 4-game losing streak heading into the final 6 games of the season. Their magic number is 2. Meanwhile, the Texas Rangers host the LA Angels for their final series of September. And the Incarnate Word Cardinals improved to 3-1 with a shutout victory over McNeese State, 31-0 in San Antonio on Saturday. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Carl Schoening.
Hi, welcome to Smoky Moe's.
At Smoky Moe's Barbecue, we smoke our meats fresh, in-house, each and every day. We think it makes all the difference in the quality of our moist, flavorful brisket and turkey, and the mouth-watering tenderness of our ribs and pork loin. Got a crowd? We've got group packs and full-service catering. Up early? We've got made-to-order breakfast tacos. Find your store at SmokyMoe'sBarbecue.com and come see us for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Smoky Moe's Barbecue. The pit is lit.
A deeper connection with water can change your life, and that's what the home's first smart water network does. It turns your everyday routine into a customized experience.
Moen, fill the baby's bottle.
And it can stop a catastrophic leak with a simple water designs our life. Who designs for water? Moen.
If your family depends on your income and something happened to you, what would happen to them? You need life insurance, and SelectQuote can help you get it at a price you can afford.
SelectQuote found Jacob, 40, who's in excellent health, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $19 a month.
Not in perfect health? Don't worry.
SelectQuote found Tanya, 40, who has type 2 diabetes, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for only $32 a month.
We shop companies like Protective, Prudential, American General, and others to find you the company with the best rates. Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford.
For your free quote, call 1-800-519-0449. That's 1-800-519-0449. Or go to selectquote.com. That's 1-800-519-0449.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
Nigel, what's that smell? Pumpkins, Joel. I've got small pumpkins, medium pumpkins, and this big boy, the star of the show, my giant pumpkin. Don't you think this is a little overboard? What can I say, boss man? I like big pumpkins, and I cannot lie. Folks, when it comes to your home's heating system, this is the ideal time to have Quarter Moon thoroughly check your heater and make sure everything is ready to go before the cold weather comes. We'll check your refrigerant levels, your thermostat, filters, and safety devices so your unit is running safely and properly for you and your family. I just love fall weather, Joel. Let me see that big pumpkin for a second. Here you go, Joel! Folks, call 210-651-5899, and one of our Quarter Moon technicians will check out your heating system from top to bottom and make sure your home is safe and ready for this season. So what are you going to do with that pumpkin, Joel?
It's dark in here. This is way too much pumpkin.
Quarter Moon Plumbing and AC, 210-651-5899. License number M13229 TACLA 000743458.
Prescription products require an online consultation. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
My husband's ED was affecting our marriage. When he first started experiencing ED, it was difficult for both of us. We didn't know who to talk to about it or where to get help. HIMSS was our answer. HIMSS connected my husband with a licensed provider online. He was able to get medication to treat his ED at a fraction of the price people pay for the name brand. It was delivered to our door, and guess what? Our sex life is back. It works.
Right now, get your first online provider's visit totally free when you go to forhims.com/radio. Yep, free. No copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Just the care you need.
Thanks to HIMSS, we got our sex life and our marriage back.
To start your free online visit, go to this exclusive address, forhims.com/radio. That's forhims.com/radio for your free online visit. forhims.com/radio.
These are the final days, the final hours of Diamonds Direct's incredible finance offer. You have until Saturday at 6 p.m. to take advantage of 5-year zero-interest financing. That's on any purchase. Buy now, spread your payments over 5 whole years with zero interest. Response has been incredible, but this amazing offer comes to an end on Saturday and will not be extended. Don't miss the year's best buying opportunity at Diamonds Direct. 5 years zero interest through Saturday at 6 p.m. Get directions, details, and more now at diamondsdirect.com.
A time when the boys of summer turn into the men of fall. When every pitch matters and every hit could change the game. The MLB postseason heard here. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Nothing but uppercuts. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 94.5 FM.
Yes, we're up vaccination-wise and ready to go. I even had my third one, my booster, the other day, because I'm over 90. Yes. Am I allowed to say that? Then I'm in trouble.
That was Greg Popovich confirming that everybody on the Spurs is vaccinated, so no worries about any contact tracing from here on out. Absolutely no daily testing, any of that. Hey, it's almost full-time here on halftime. We're over at the Westover Twin Peaks. You should come out here for the Monday Night Football game. Gigi's done a great job serving us over here, making sure we got everything we need. Eat, drink, scenic views out here. As also, if you can't catch the game on TV, you'll be able to catch it on the radio. We'll have it. It's brought to you by AA Best Bail Bonds and Ewald Kubota. The Cowboys games play here. That is one fine tractor.
Fine tractor.
It was Spurs Media Day today, and Greg Popovich also wanted to talk about the roster construction. He said it was on purpose. Let's hear that cut.
This is purposeful, what you're seeing. So it was put together with a lot of foresight and a lot of discussions, with Brian, with RC, with the coaches. So, yeah, it's purposeful.
And it's mostly made of first-round draft picks and the two players from the Kawhi trade, Keldon Johnson, which was the Spurs draft pick as they got to make the selection, and Jakob Poeltl. So, yeah, I would assume it's pretty purposeful. These guys are hand-selected by the Spurs since 2016. Most of them are Spurs draft picks with the exception of Zach Collins and Dougie McBuckets, who were signed in free agency. They also bring in Jock Landale, an Aussie. You got to have an Aussie on the Spurs. So I'm really liking the construction of this roster, even though national media in Vegas aren't really feeling it.
Well, purposeful. I don't know what to take from that other than obviously you guys went and got the guys you wanted. You offered them contracts. I understand there was a purpose behind your actions, but we got too many guys. Was it purposeful to go get somebody else? Did you purposely bring in 19 guys for 15 spots, 18 of them under contract? Purposeful tells me, yes, that's the guys that you were chasing, but what was the purpose? Is the purpose to go in with the guys that are showing up today, or will the team that we see on October the 4th or when the season begins in early November or late October, is that going to be the purpose, or was the purpose to bring together a bunch of guys and go get an Andrew Wiggins? Was the purpose to bring in a bunch of guys and go get a Ben Simmons? Because we got more than we need. Purposeful, I get, but what was the purpose?
That's right. They do have 17 guaranteed contracts. They got to cut that down to 15 by October 19th. So I know that's a lot of teams I just threw out there, but basically they got to cut 2 guys. They have 18 guys on roster, and they're going to have a full training camp to try and decide who's going to be the 2 players that won't be with us. But, hey, we appreciate y'all being with us. We are live here from Twin Peaks. It's been a great time. Thank y'all for tuning in. This has been Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 94.5 FM. We'll see you tomorrow.
San Antonio Sports Star Pro Football Pick'em. Online at sasportsstar.com. Can you pick the perfect match?